music history lesson and history lesson today. Today we learn about, for music history lesson, Jeff Skunk Baxter, born in Washington, D.C. on December 13th, 1948. He's a Sagittarius. He's of Scottish heritage. His great-great-grandfather, Charles K. Baxter, also a Sagittarius, served in the Civil War, and Baxter has his uniform and saber. So I did find a Charles K. Baxter on findagrave.com. He was born in 1838. But I did not find Charles K. Baxter when I cross-referenced in who was in the Civil War. It's a illustrated reference to more than 2,500 of the principal Union and Confederate participants in the war between the states. I did not find him in here. There were two Baxters. DeWitt Clinton Baxter, they don't know when he was born, but he died in 1881. And Henry Baxter, born in 1821, but that was 17 years before Charles Baxter. So apparently he did play, he played an important role like everyone else, but for some reason he was not in this book, and I found that interesting. Jeff Skunk Baxter. His dad was a senior executive vice president of J. Walter Thompson, which was the largest advertising agency in the world. He was in charge of creative advertising. Jeff Baxter grew up in Mexico City and studied classical piano from the age of 5. I don't even know what I'm talking about. From the age of 5, his parents bought him a guitar at age 9, eventually earning a living customizing and repairing guitars. He also played golf. And he's not even of age yet. Later, he lived in New York. He worked in record stores as a teenager, becoming friends with Les Paul and Jimi Hendrix. How cool is that? Later, relocating to Los Angeles to become a session musician, he became a co-founder of Steely Dan and appeared on their first 3 albums. Oh my God! After leaving, he joined the Doobie Brothers for 5 years before focusing as a session musician. He worked with, are you ready to get this? Session musician and stuff. He worked with Dolly Parton, Gene Clark, Carly Simon. Gotta take a swallow. John Mellencamp, Michael McDonald, Clint Black, Johnny Lang, Rod Stewart, Donna Summer, The Stray Cats, Nils Lofgren, Carl Wilson, Hoyt Axton, Barbra Streisand, Linda Ronstadt, John Sebastian, Bryan Adams, Richie Havens, Judy Collins, David Cassidy, Joni Mitchell, Gene Simmons, Eric Clapton, Sheryl Crow, Ricky Nelson, Ringo Starr, Elton John, Bob Weir, James Brown, John Entwistle, Joe Walsh, Keith Emerson, Joe Cocker, Albert King, Cher, and Dusty Springfield, Glenn Campbell, to literally name a few. Just a few. Those are just a small few that Jeff Skunk Baxter has worked with. He's composed for various TV shows, commercials, and movies, and taught at the Guitar Institute of Technology. Gibson, Fender, and D'Angelico are just a few guitar companies that have asked him for input of their instruments. At one point, he owned over 400 guitars. Wow. He was with the Los Angeles Police Department, for 15 years. Baxter has self-taught himself with military-oriented publications and missile defense systems, and wrote a 5-page letter suggesting that military ship-based anti-aircraft system could be converted into a missile defense solution. Representatives were so impressed, Baxter was drafted into service as a consultant and later nominated to lead the Civilian Advisory Board for Ballistic Missile Defense. He also served as a national spokesman for Americans for Missile Defense. He has since worked with, got some hard names coming up here, Pentagon's Missile Defense Agency, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, Science Applications International Corporation, Northrop Grumman Corporation, General Dynamics, NASA Exploration System Advisory Committee, and General Atomics Aeronautical Systems Incorporated, along with various private defense innovators. Along with all of that, he managed to release his first solo album last year. Jeff Skunk Baxter. Okay, so now for history lesson. A few days ago is Casimir Funk's birthday. I'm a huge fan of the funk, so we're going to talk about the funk. What do you say? I don't know why I'm still holding this book, because you know what? Great-great-granddad was not in it. Casimir Funk, a biochemist born February 23rd, 1884 in Warsaw, Poland. He's a Pisces. One of the first to formulate the concept of vitamins, referring to them as vital amines. He has become known as the father of vitamin therapy. He isolated a substance from brown rice, later determined as niacin. In 1912, he published a book called The Vitamins. His work led to the prevention of many diseases caused by vitamin deficiency. He researched cancer, hormones, diabetes, peptic ulcers, synthesis of adrenaline, and increased the quality of insulin. He studied the building blocks of sugars and proteins and contributed to getting proper nutrients into manufactured foods. The PIASA annually award Polish-American scientists with the Casimir Funk Natural Sciences Award. In 1936, he determined the molecule structure of thiamine, and published Vitamin and Mineral Therapy, a book. He also suggested the existence of what became riboflavin, vitamin C, and vitamin D. In 1940, he became the president of the Funk Foundation for Medical Research. He died November 19th, 1967, in Albany, New York, at the age of 83. So, the biochemist, Casimir Funk, and prior to that, you learned about Jeff Skunk Baxter. I will see you next week when I don't know who I'm going to be talking about, but it's going to be someone cool and you've never maybe heard of them before, or maybe you have. I don't know. Anyway, see you next week. Bye!